this is the day, this is the chance. Everybody gets to really meet Ben Gold. You ready?
I'm looking forward to it. I've been waiting a while for this.
First, everybody says that's the guy from New Zealand.
Yeah, I do.
And play basketball growing up. I know you were part of a program, but what was your life? Because I'm assuming it's different than players you know now that grew up in America.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like compared to a lot of people, I had a unique background for basketball. I have two older brothers. They both play basketball. So I kind of started playing basketball because of them. My dad played, so it kind of just a chain. But whole life up until 14, I was a rugby player.
I don't know rugby, but you don't. First of all, you got too tall to be a rugby player.
Yeah, no,
there's no rugby player ever in the history of the sport as tall. How tall are you for people?
6'11". So yeah, it got to a point where I was 14, and I was like, this is going to be a little tough if I continue to grow and play rugby. I'm just going to get hurt the whole time. But yeah, I love the sport. I was playing rugby, basketball, softball, and track and field, basically all at the same time.
Now, I think this needs to be stated, and everybody should know, no one should ever question your toughness.
Yeah.
If you played rugby, you're nuts.
Yeah.
Because you just get hurt all the time.
Honestly,
right?
Yeah. It's just, you're just going at each other every single day, whether it's in practice or games, you're just running at each other. That's basically what rugby is.
Tell people how much easier physically basketball is than rugby. Explain that.
It's a lot easier. You don't have to deal with someone trying to take your head off constantly.
Every play.
Every play. Every single play, someone's just trying to take you out or trying to hurt you, honestly.
So does everybody in New Zealand play rugby? Is that something you grow up playing?
Yeah. Basically, everyone back home plays rugby. So, it's a really fun sport. I still try to, as much as I can, watch as much rugby as I can back home. Whenever I'm back at home, I'll go watch my friends play. But no, I really love the sport, and if there was a way to have still played, I would have loved to, but I think I made the right decision.
So if any kid growing up could be great in any sport in New Zealand, they would all pick rugby.
Yeah, 100%.
And who's the Babe Ruth of rugby in New Zealand?
Ooh.
I don't know. Babe Ruth may be too old. I don't know who the current.
Honestly, it's a very tough question to ask because it really depends on what you value as a rugby player. There's the greatest and toughest player, which is a guy called Richie McCaw, who was just known as the guy that he would do all the dirty work for the team. He was the guy that you would never question his toughness. He was out there getting injured every game, breaking his collarbone in games, still playing. And then there's guys who I really like called Bowden Barrett, who's just a really good playmaker in rugby. He's fast, he makes decisions, scores a lot of tries, as they call it. So yeah, it honestly depends on who you, what kind of rugby player or your knowledge behind it.
These are all people no one's ever heard of, but now they'll have heard of some. And has New Zealand won world titles? I don't know the World Cup or how that works. Yeah,
they have won a lot, honestly. The last one we won was 2015, and then the one before that was 2011. So it's every 4 years they have the World Cup. So we won back-to-back World Cups. And then, unfortunately, last year we had the World Cup. We lost in the final to South Africa.
So is it New Zealand Blacks?
It's the All Blacks.
All Blacks.
Yeah, so they're a very well-known team. Like a lot of different sports know them kind of just because of their winning culture. They're just known as just one of the best winning teams out there.
What was the biggest adjustment after being a rugby player to becoming a basketball player?
Toning down a little bit of the physicality. You can't just go on a basketball court and just run at someone full speed. You can't. You've got to find ways where you can bring that side of the rugby into the game, but without overdoing it and fouling out every game, basically. So it's kind of finding the middle ground. There's people. You'll be amazed how little things in rugby can translate to basketball.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, like a lot of the footwork, a lot of obviously speed, decision making, a lot of that stuff.
So there can be debates about basketball, but if you win against anybody on Marquette in rugby, you'd crush.
100%. 100%. No one else necessarily probably knows the rules of rugby, so that gives me a little bit of the upper hand, but I also think no one will be better than me at rugby on the team.
Let's get to your family. You said 2 brothers.
Yep.
I'm assuming you're better than they are.
They wouldn't like to hear that, but I think so, yeah.
I don't know what they did, but I'm assuming in New Zealand, if you then go on and are good enough to be in playing Division I basketball, not that many people have done that. I don't know how many New Zealand players have ever played in the NBA. You might know that.
It's only 2. Steven Adams at the moment, and someone called Sean Marks, who is the GM for the Brooklyn Nets at the moment.
Steven Adams is good.
He is good.
I remember him when he played in Pittsburgh. I didn't think it was very good, and Jim McElvain, a 7-footer, said, "Kid's a great athlete. He'll play in the NBA for 15 years."
He is, and he's carved out his role as a player, and everyone knows him.
He would have been a good rugby player.
He would have been a great rugby player.
Yes, he would have hurt people. Is it fair to say that's your dream? I don't know each college player if they think of that, and Tony Smith, my partner who played in the NBA, said he really never thought about playing in the NBA. It just, as you get better.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, it probably wasn't really a thought. It's growing up, you don't really, back home, you don't really see that as an option. Everyone's focused on rugby. You're growing up playing basketball, you don't kind of think you can make it to America and then to the NBA. But as I grew older, it kind of all started to really become an option or a chance for me once I got to the NBA Academy in Australia. And I saw people I was playing with and practicing with every single day make it to the NBA, and I kind of continued to make it known that that's an option for me. And then obviously I'm here at Marquette now, and every day I think that I can make it to the NBA, and that's my goal at the end of the day. Carve out a great role as an NBA player.
And how good would your brothers say that you are now?
I think they say I'm pretty good. I think they'd also be tough on me, saying I've got a long way to go, which is true. So yeah, I think every time I go home, we love to get back on the court and play against each other. And growing up, it was always them beating me the whole time, them picking on me. I'm losing in the backyard every single day. Different story now.
Wow.
Which is good.
I want to get to Marquette and Shaka Smart. Everybody asks me, what's it like playing for Shaka Smart? And then why and how is it that the teammates just seem to like each other so much? Address any or all of that.
Yeah, I mean, playing for Coach is great. I've never played for someone who values relationships and relationships as much as he does. And honestly, coming into Marquette, I didn't really understand it, why he valued it so much. And then you get around the team, you get around the coaches and everyone, and they all value each other at a high level. Relationships is huge for us, and we realize that plays into us winning games. And it even goes down to everyone's families. Like today, I feel like I have a great relationship with a lot of the players' families. Being from New Zealand, I don't get to see mine a lot. So it's good to be able to surround myself with other people's families.
And you think that's because of Shaka and the standard he sets?
Yeah, I think he focuses a lot on, when he's recruiting players, their character and their personality, and a lot of the time that comes from the family, what they're grown up around. So I feel like that kind of is stemmed from the families, and yeah, that kind of helps us out.
And what do you lastly want to tell the world about Ben Gold that you think they should know of above and beyond and anything else? They already know you'd crush everybody in right.
Yeah, I mean, just look out. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. We're going to be a great team. We play together, and I'm going to do everything I can on the court to help us succeed in the ways we can and reach the goals we want to reach.
Thanks, and tell your brothers they need to admit who's the best.
I think I will.
All right.
I think I will. Appreciate it.
Ben Gold, you all know him now. One thing I want to mention, the Thursdays at Motor Barn Restaurant on the campus of Harley Davidson Museum. And Thursdays at 6 o'clock, Shaka Smart. Cam Jones will be the first guest. That's on Thursday, December the 5th. It's Thursdays at 6. And when you come, they have food and drink specials. So remember, Thursdays, Marquette Thursdays, Shaka Smart, Jen Latta, and the first one will be Cam Jones on December the 5th. Again, Motor Barn Restaurant on the campus of the Harley Davidson Museum.
Perfect.
Tough.